Dearest GW, I almost have 1,000 subscribers. No. I definitely have 10,000 No, let's not go too far. 1,000 subscribers. Don't make me summon the elect accounts and raise a victory banner over your office. We the people demand to know your secrets. Send me something good. Please? Love you. Oh, that was quick. Exciting. No! What the f? That's ridiculous, you little rascals! The princess had taken her favourite toy with her, a ball made of glistening gold. Over and over again, she threw the ball up into the air. Oh, that's the door. Back in a sec. What is that? That looks legit. Oh my goodness. Well, this is exciting. I wonder what it is. Hopefully, your medication. What do we reckon? Holy moly, is that a female space marine? I thought these were banned for being too powerful. Maybe they're making a comeback. Either way, let's have a look. Bases from 2003, very nice. Well, we can't be putting this on a standard base. We're going to need some inspiration. There must be something in here. Interesting. First, we need to brutalize this book. If you're of a bookworm disposition, please look away now. That'll do for now. As usual, we'll start this with a solid piece of stone. Now, for this to work, I need the book to stay upright. That will be a challenge. But before we get that far, I'll sketch out a very rough plot. A few trees, a path, we'll see how we get on. Now then, for the trees, I've printed these from Cast and Play, one of the Terrain Essentials bundles, using water washable resin. They fit together fairly easily, but after the first layer, for the sake of speed, I'm sprinkling bicarbonate of soda on top before fixing with superglue. The reaction between the two causes an instant, super strong hold. It certainly speeds up the process, which was a help as we had to times this one tree by 4. 2 different sizes, but the reason for that will become clear shortly. Let's put them roughly in place to get an idea of the space we've got to work with. Standing this book up is going to be painful, but I think I've got an idea. I've found this suspiciously convenient piece of wood. I'm thinking if we gently push it down the spine, violently smack it down the spine, then I can drill a hole and insert this that I've stolen from the kitchen. Snipped to size with one end in the stone, I think we should be good to go. Little did he know, this would be a horrendous task. Now, for all the tradesmen watching, I am aware it's the wrong drill bit. I was praying for a miracle. I thought I might get lucky, break into the stone like a reverse King Arthur. But no, of course not. Fine! I surrender. Done. Keys, wallet, let's go. Wallet? Mother feathers. Right, which one of you little chaos demons took my wallet again? Gerald, don't you dare. Stop right there. Criminal scum. Bloody hell. Take 2, get me out of here. Stuck in traffic. Don't you smirk at me, heretic. Finally, we've arrived. The store for men doing stupid things alone. Here we go, we must be close, I can smell them. Where are we? Where are we? Here we go. Bloody hell, I'll never financially recover from this. Thank the Lord for my Patreon. and job done. Easy really. Now we drill the wood. Does it fit? It does. Let's snap it to size. Cover it in resin. You're never getting out of this hole. Some scraps to catch the drops. That's about right, I reckon. Back down the spine. In she goes, and job is a good one. Almost. I don't really want it to sit flat. I'd prefer it to be closed a little bit more. Onwards to the only way I could think of doing this. We'll make a couple of holes and then grab the fishing wire. The idea is that I thread it through those holes and it holds the book together. Maybe? Instead of tying knots, we'll use a shortcut, some UV resin. Wonderful. How on earth did that work? Step 6 or 7? I don't know. We'll plaster our ground mix on, made from sand, polyfiller and Mod Podge. Easy to work with and dries rock hard. We'll push it right up to the pages and then give it time to dry. Excellent. Now we need the airbrush. Shield our precious book cover, add the white paint and prepare to destroy! What? Okay. Back in a sec. Destroy you, and especially you. You're doomed now! Excuse me? What on earth is going on? Can you get out? Anyway, I've never done anything like this in my life before now, so we shall see. It may well be terrible. All I know is, mimicking the artwork in children's storybooks, the further away something is, the less detailed it needs to be. So, following that one and only principle, as I add in trees nearer the foreground, I'll add to their shape and pick out the details with lighter and lighter greens. There's always a granny cabin in the woods, so let's block that in. If you're thinking it looks like a child did that, I'm going to pretend that's intentional. Oh, sugar. That's not so good. Let's get that patched up. Add the inevitable plume of smoke. Greta will not be pleased. A final bit of greenery before we take a step back and double check the trees. Let's get these painted. Starting with a black base coat, we'll go over them with grey from above, and then white. Slop on some more of our ground mixture, this time with added black paint. Position the trees as required. We've still got the opportunity to wriggle them around a bit. Smooth our path back into existence. Let's add a few fairy tale mushrooms and tufts. It's coming together slowly, but now we need the star. Little Red Riding Hood. I say star, it was actually a misprint. It should have read victim. But by the time the advert had gone out, all of the quail had left the office. Like most miniatures, she's currently posed to be standing and alive. However, with a few cuts and ill-placed limbs, we can change that. To hide the dismembering, we'll extend her cloak. I mixed up some green stuff and left it for an hour so it began to cure. It's easier to cut and shape that way. I fit it to her back with a wet rubber tool, a bit of glue and some careful folding. The last thing you want to do at this point is mess it up and have to start again 3 times. Which he definitely didn't do. Don't forget the basket. Now we need some dead fairy tale birds. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. I'm sorry. They're not quail. One there. And a little chap at the back. We've also got a rabbit. Everyone likes rabbits. It's not easy doing this, you know. Time for the paint. Let's cover up this masterpiece. A quick base coat with grey, and then on to brown for the forest floor. Green for the pine trees, with some lighter green dry brushing. Some more green dry brushing on the ground. Forest floors are rarely just mud. A few patches of bright green. We'll add this to the trees as well. Let's dust up the path with a light brown dry brush. We'll carry a similar effect up into the drawn path. Dark brown for the tree trunks. And then carefully, an off-white for the stalks. And a bright red for the cap. God damn it! A few white dots. We'll do the same again on the page. Onto this poor soul, we'll add a little brown. Get the boots and gloves. Obviously red for the trademark hooded cloak. Have you ever sat and wondered what it would be like to be Little Red Riding Hood, face down in the dirt, all your hopes and dreams gone, Granny back at home, squashed by a drop pod? Me neither, until today. Cheer up, little one. A small highlight on the gloves and boots, as well as the cloak. Let's colour up the birds in classic fairy tale colours. Time for the PVA glue, covering about 85% of the forest floor. Sprinkle on the grass. Shake off the excess. Now we'll add some pines to the base of the trees. To make these, I commandeered an old paintbrush and snipped off some bristles. Then snipped those bristles again, until I was left with a pile like this. A small amount of surgery on the rabbit. Dust her off and paint her up with grey, a brown wash, and some light brown stipples. Glistening blood, finally. We'll add some under Little Red so it's clear she's not just having a nap. A big blob on the rabbit's neck before I blow it out with a curly straw. Now for the bolognese. I wasn't sure if this would work, I just hoped it would. I mixed UV resin with red ink, covered the rabbit and then fiddled with the resin while holding the UV torch overhead. Until... disgusting. Now, don't feel too bad, she didn't die alone. Her husband watched the entire thing. Dear God. Finally, a dribble for the birds. Now, let's craft this ungodly menace. Like most Space Marines, the pieces are quite self-explanatory. A quick base coat. I suppose we should paint the skin first. I'm painting a female Space Marine. What do you think I'm doing? Alright, calm down. If you do want to support me, I do indeed have a Patreon. Join the parade. As you can see, it's just the legendary Soren Pedersen at the moment, holding the fort and keeping these videos pumping. We've got previews, voting, bonus content, and the nest. Come and hang out. Let's finish this off. A pale complexion. I suspect they don't have much time for sunbathing. As for the armour, we'll stick with the classic Space Marine colours. Is he colourblind? We'll start with the mid-tone and then I'll darken the folds. It's almost comparable to Terminator armour. Now for the highlights. Slowly, slowly, lighter and lighter. We'll get the trim with a clean white. Keep it tidy. Same for the greaves. And the chest plate. Onto the helmet. A similar story to the rest of the armour, but we'll start with red and work our way up. All the way up to the highlight. Same again for the backpack. Now, for the hair, a base of light brown. And then we'll pick out the strands with bone white. Before glazing over the whole thing with greatly thinned down bone white. Gunmetal for the weapon and the face tubes. Before very, very carefully finishing with the lenses. We all know how Games Workshop feels about keeping their secrets safe. I don't know whether I'll get away with posting this film.